I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me and see me okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being willing to talk to me today. I'm really excited just to kind of talk to you about, your experiences and kind of how, you learned, Mandarin and other languages and things like that and what you kind of found helpful. I'm just going to start off real quick and just kind of introduce you a little bit from what I just kind of, seen online and kind of with what you're doing with your YouTube channel and things like that. So just for people who, may not know, so Charmaine Lee is a YouTuber, I guess, slash influencer that you can call yourself.
Oh,
And
no.
she is from Singapore and has studied and lived in Taiwan. And she started her YouTube channel in 2012. And you kind of mentioned how you started your YouTube channel to kind of learn like speaking skills, or did you just kind of just do it to document a little bit about kind of what you were doing and studying in Taiwan?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I actually started YouTube way back in the days where I was just like having fun videoing and everything. Yeah, but I guess my passion for speaking and hosting and this kind of stuff just grew even more. So I decided to be more serious with my YouTube and train and hone some skills in speaking, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, so when I went to Taiwan to study for Mandarin, I just thought, okay, why not just share some tips and bits of Taiwan to the people on YouTube? So
Awesome. It's so
yeah.
cool. What was your impressions of actually like living in Taiwan? Like you mentioned like the people, like the culture, like how was that kind of adjusting to like actually living there?
Okay, so I definitely would, I mean, I would highly recommend living in Taiwan because the people are so warm-hearted. The way they speak and spark conversations with you, especially if you're a foreigner, it's just like, wow. It feels like humanity is being,
Yeah.
like brought back to this society.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience because you get to grow and see like the different cultures. You get to see how Taiwan versus compared to your country's culture, like what's the difference? Yeah, because when I was in Taiwan, I I I literally felt like, wow, how can people be so nice? And like the people in my country, they're nice, but they're not as nice as Taiwanese. And it makes a foreigner feel so at ease and so comfortable living in their country. So yeah, definitely love every bit of it. You go hiking because Taiwan's known for their mountains, and when you go hiking, you see like an 80 or 90-year-old elderly walking up hiking up the mountains without even panting like crazy. But here I am, a 20-year-old hiking up that mountain and being like, oh, I can do this, and the elderly beside me are like, come on, you can do it. You're young, you're full of energy. I'm like, I'm trying.
Yeah. What would be like your advice to someone who wanted to actually study in Taiwan? Like, do you have any tips for someone who would say, some things that you would want to know before you came, or just like the experience of studying there?
I would say definitely take a bold step to go for it because many people they don't dare to do it. But for me, it's like if you never try, you'll never know. Yeah, so definitely take a bold step to do it. And I would say one thing I kind of regret would be that I didn't mix around the locals enough. Yeah, if you want to improve your Mandarin, you gotta mix with the locals. You gotta be in within like you gotta have friends that are Taiwanese so that you can practice your Mandarin and yep, and that kind of stuff. So in Taiwan where I study, they do have this thing called like a language exchange. So you get tagged to a Taiwanese, they will learn your language from you and they vice versa. So I would teach them English and they would teach me Mandarin. And they're essentially just a friend. And there are many apps in Taiwan that you can actually get connected to the locals over there that who want to learn your language, and they are willing to teach you. So if you want to learn Mandarin in Taiwan, it's really the best place because they're so willing to teach you over there. Many younger Taiwanese, they do know English actually. Yeah, so basic English you can definitely get by in Taiwan. And I've seen so many, I would say Americans or like British, they improve so quickly. Yeah, because they are so willing to learn, and sometimes they do better than I do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, definitely. Because I would say they do know how to get like the unction and clarity in their words and pronunciations compared to countries like Thailand or Indonesia. Yep. Because I guess because English, you need a lot of pronunciations as well, right? Like enunciations. And I think it's extremely helpful when learning a new language, let's say Chinese or Mandarin.
Right.
Because it's because Mandarin's pretty complicated, right? Yeah, but with
the whole
with the help,
system, right?
yeah, definitely, and the whole like four intonations and everything.
Right.
So with the help of English, I'm sure it's way easier to learn Mandarin for you compared to people who don't really learn English as their main language.
Right. Yeah. And another thing too is that I kind of wanted to mention, like you said, being able to talk to, local, Taiwanese people and learning Mandarin and things like that really help you. I know with our organization, we're actually coming out with something. It's like a virtual reality app. I don't know if you've heard of, virtual reality with like the glasses and everything like that. But with what we're doing is we actually are creating this virtual reality. It's kind of like a college campus / open world. And so when this comes out on, headsets, people from around the world can, log in, and if they have a headset, can actually talk to people of other, countries and things like that, and actually be able to just talk to, a, local, English speaker or, French speaker or whatever, and kind of having, a way to, practice their speaking skills and language skills. But it's not like through, okay, I'm just going to do it, through a Zoom call. I'm just going to do it kind of, on a phone call or anything like that. It's actually like, being able to talk to someone with facial expressions, with kind of like that person, presence kind of feel. And so for you, it's kind of, learning another language, obviously, speaking with someone who, speaks that language is really helpful. What other kind of ways were helpful? Was it like just mainly auditory? Was it like visual things that would help you kind of learn the language? Or
I would say, because when I was studying Mandarin, we were studying how to write and read as well. So that really helps. Like, oh, I know like a huge, I would say, like an amazing way to learn Mandarin would be to listen to Mandarin songs.
Okay.
Because melody does help with you trying to memorize words or like pronunciations and everything. So I would actually suggest to my friends to listen to songs with me, like the latest C-pop songs. And then sometimes if we don't know the meaning of this word, we would write it down and search on the meaning for it. And then we would try to use it in our conversations. Yeah. Or I would actually listen to the song and then try to write what I've heard, which is extremely tough, but it definitely helped me with learning the language.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, like using, like, songs or media or things like that, that's already like in the culture. So when you're learning it, you're kind of learning the culture and also just, the language in general.
Yes.
That's really cool. So I guess the last question I have is kind of, with you kind of doing, your thing YouTube and just, your own personal, what's kind of like next for you? What are you kind of wanting to see, I guess, like in the future, or what are you kind of like working towards?
For me, actually, the main reason I went to Taiwan to improve on my Mandarin was that in Singapore, bilingual hosts are very much needed in the industry. So if you're just an English host, they would much rather prefer a bilingual host who is, I would say, just okay with English and just okay with Mandarin. But they would rather prefer just okay with both languages than someone who is extremely good in one language only. So for me, I wanted to improve on my Mandarin to be a bilingual host. So I went to Taiwan to try to improve on it so that I can hopefully work towards being a bilingual host for events or for webinars. And I do have a dream of becoming a radio DJ in Singapore, like an English radio DJ. But yeah, I'll just see where this brings me to. Yeah, and definitely YouTube would be the one platform that I can improve my speaking. Because in Singapore, Singaporeans don't really speak English like I do.
Yeah.
We have the whole Singlish accent, which does not sound like this at all. Yeah, so definitely working somewhere towards hosting and being a radio DJ, hopefully. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's really cool. I think, just being able to talk to you, I can see that you're someone that's, really inspiring, and just kind of, you're just open-minded as well to just learn other languages and, be able to live in other cultures and things like that. I think it's really, just important in connecting with people and, just being able to kind of be more, sympathetic and things like that. So thank you again so much for
Thank you so
talking to
much.
me. It's a pleasure, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my honor. It's my honor to be here, to be speaking to you, really.
Right. Thank you. Have a good one, and thank you so much.
Thank you. You too as well. Have a great weekend.